This is a wild video. Take a look at this. This is not the video of the shooting. This is just a video of people in a subway train ducking in panic because there were reports that, at the scene, not in this video, I want to stress that, someone apparently got shot in the head on the New York subways. Now, if you came to me any other day and said, did you hear a guy got shot in the New York subway? I'd be like, wow, really? That's it. But if you come to me and say, hey, did you hear some guy got shot in the New York subway? I'd be like, with the National Guard deployed?
With the National Guard deployed.
Wow.
But this is in Brooklyn, and they abandon the outer boroughs as soon as they start losing money, as soon as they start, as soon as the city starts declining.
They're like, you're a Long Island
You're on
now.
your own. And that was I say this all the time, but that was the great thing about Bloomberg. He pumped all this cash into Manhattan. It spilled over into the outer boroughs. The outer boroughs became nice.
And in 2022, Zeldin only lost, the Republican only lost by 5 or 6 points.
Yeah,
maybe it's in striking distance now that Biden's approval.
What's the latest on the CA Senate race?
Oh yeah, they
Which
can't
one?
count, right?
With Schiff?
They can't count.
I mean, Argentina counted all their ballots in 6 hours with the millions of people. California's still not.
Did he win already? Is that what happened? No, they advanced. Where's the date on this? Like, what's the update on this? Like, do we know?
You mean the Feinstein seat?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Schiff and Garvey, but they go to a runoff.
Right. When is the runoff? Do we know?
It's probably like June or something like that. Or is it November?
I don't know, but here, check this out. So we're talking about New York. Maybe Trump wins California. Take a look at this. I suppose because Katie Porter is there. Is that what's happening? She split the vote.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because there was two other Democrats on the ballot. Yeah.
Yeah, with Barbara Lee and Katie Porter.
It's a 70-30 race.
Oh, so if this goes to a runoff, Adam Schiff wins.
Yeah, he'll get all those votes.
Wow. And what do you need? You need to cross 50% or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, 50%. Texas has the same rule where if your top two go to runoffs, ours are May 28th. So maybe
so Trump's not going to be winning California. But with stories like this, I bet there's a lot of people in New York who are probably going to vote for Trump, not say anything. I don't know if New York City ever turns red. These people, I think, are unwell, as it were.
I would be surprised if New York City completely turned red, but I wonder if there will be different districts that tip the scales this time, because I think that there are people who are really frustrated, and New York lost such a huge portion of its population, especially its wealthy population, during COVID, and largely a lot of those moves actually happened under Biden during 2021. I know when I was at the New York Young Republicans Gala and Trump was speaking there, it was a really high energy event. I mean, we've already been saying Trump's a great speaker, but it is interesting that the oldest young Republican club in the country is actually in New York. It's not in Texas. It's not in Montana. It's in New York. It's not even in DC, right? Like, there was a time when Republicans, even though maybe the city leaned blue, still occupied the city. And we know that upstate definitely leans red too. So I can't say what's going to happen. You're a New Yorker. What do you think?
I think that Republicans should get in there and actually provide some decent candidates. We don't see a lot of good leadership for Republicans in the city. We don't see a lot of good leadership from Republicans in the state. I think Zeldin was great, but you did not have people didn't get behind him. Like the national Republicans did not get behind him. They didn't fight for it. And if the Republicans aren't going to fight for those places, then they're never going to win them. And the city is declining. The residents of New York City, what they really care about when times are good, sure, they care about abortion and solar panels and whatever else. But when times are tough in New York, New Yorkers care about just a couple of things: quality of life, safety, trash pickup, accessibility of public transit. That's what they care about.
And it can't get much worse. And I just looked up really quickly. The Republicans controlled the Senate in New York from 1939 until 2009. So it's not impossible, and things are getting bad with crime. Democrats have been opposing charter schools in New York City for a long time, whereas a lot of Democrat families are on wait lists to get in those, banging down the doors, and you have a cap on the charter schools in New York City.
It's hard to get into schools in New York City. I mean, I had trouble with that with my son before we left, and it was like we were on wait lists for a half dozen schools, to Christian schools, Catholic schools, to try and get into them.
I think Republicans should approach this like the election like a Chinese finger trap problem. they're trying so hard to pull their fingers out, it's only getting tighter. And the answer is actually simple. Republicans should all issue a statement right now, every single one unanimously signed, saying, we changed our mind. We are in favor of abortion. And then they'll have a press conference with like Donald Trump, or I think Trump would be the perfect guy for this. He'd be like, we talked about it and we like it when liberals kill the kids. No more of them. Basically putting out a statement where they're like, upon further realization, we realized that liberals were the ones getting abortions. So we're totally in favor of it now. But not because they literally want to support abortion. Think about the narrative reaction to Republicans saying, actually, we're completely on board because we realized ideologically conservatives and Christians don't get them. So the only people killing their kids will be liberals. And we decided we're okay with that.
It won't be enough.
How would Democrats respond to that?
I don't know how they tried to flip the script, but if it did become bipartisan and that was the shakeup where maybe it changed the political calculus and the number of people voting at the Republican versus Democrat side. But the Democrats control the schools and they can brainwash enough voters to vote socialist in the future that way. We have 50 million kids going through the government school system every year to like big government policy. So I think we got to start there.
50 million, that's such a crazy number.
Government indoctrination centers.
Yeah, they really are that. And they're moving into the community schools as well, so that there's going to be more people from the community in the schools. You're going to have health care available for kids. And then you also have all these states where children are allowed to make their own medical decisions without their parents.
But I'm genuinely curious what you guys think Democrats would do if Republicans said, we now support abortion, and we actually encourage Democrats to have them.
I think they would get pissed, and then the lie of their whole pro-abortion thing would really have to get reversed. But I think they would scream and rant about it. I think they would.
So I had a tweet where I said,
I don't know if they would run further to the left and say, we've got to be able to kill the babies out after they're born as well. Try to one up us. Yeah, well.
Northam said that already. So that was
they're already gotten
there. It's actually a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm behind on the times. I didn't know they were that crazy.
Yeah. So I'm genuinely curious how they could respond to something like that. I tweeted.
Can you envision it? Can you envision Joy Reid coming out and saying they want you to kill your children, and that's why they're saying that they're pro-abortion?
Yep.
And
they'll say, no, she's right. Joy, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
But it's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
We
now
like
they're
it
saying
if you did.
It's your choice if you should kill your child, if you should
have
an abortion or not.
That's a huge victory for Republicans to make them say you're killing your children.
It would be pretty amazing.
I tweeted, you should have to prove you're a Democrat in order to get an abortion. And the point of the tweet was, Democrats like to say that Republicans get abortions too. They say, these Republicans say they're pro-life, but they secretly get abortions. I'm like, that's the point. Don't let them. If a Republican comes out and says no abortions and then secretly has a mistress go get an abortion, then you say no. You don't allow it, right? There you go. And then for the conservatives, it's like only Democrats get abortions. I just think the whole issue is absolutely fascinating. That is quite literally Democrats begging to excise themselves from the gene pool and Republicans being like, stop, please don't. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it's absolute compassion there from the conservatives who are desperately trying to save these kids. But Democrats are really trying.
I wonder if the left would take the approach they take with immigration, which is like, if you're an illegal immigrant, they're like, don't give any documentation. You don't want them to know. So they're like, well, Republicans are going to track who gets abortions and they're going to terrorize you some other way. They're going to be like, it's a prelude to the Handmaid's Tale kind of thing. Like you'll get some sort of data collection, pro-privacy movement coming from the left because they're scared of some sort of weird tactic involving abortion.
They'll attack motives and they'll just say, they were just doing it for political purposes. No,
but that's the point. Then you'll get like a debate on MSNBC where the Democrat says, you're just doing this for political points. And they'll be like, yeah, what do you mean? Don't you guys want us to support your right to abortion? And we realize that if you keep doing this in 20 years, we own the electorate. So we're just kind of like, yeah, I guess. Why not?
If that's what you want to do, then go ahead and sterilize your children and kill your babies.
Yeah, we're done fighting it. Not that I'm saying to literally make that law happen or advocate for it. It's a thought experiment of how could the Democrats possibly respond to someone saying, have you considered getting an abortion to them? Like, I feel like that's the best insult ever for a woman, like a liberal woman or a man, just to be like, have you considered aborting your children?
That's awful.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's so hard.
You can't raise your kids.
It's like kind of a good clapback, but it's also like, whoa, I don't like that.
Brutal.
Perhaps your kid requires some kind of sterilization procedure. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.